welcome back to Reading Corner. Today we are returning to Hela to cover our log segment for Season 3, the King in Black event, Queen in Black. In the countless centuries that I have lived, I have never seen much use for kings. They are a loud, boorish lot whose deeds never seem to match their words. Take Odin, for instance. The so-called All-Father claimed to be the most powerful ruler in the 10 realms, and yet he couldn't save his own kingdom without having to take a multi-year nap immediately after. I'm sorry, I just pictured Odin going, I will save a Hobbit immediately. I suppose that's technically what he's doing. In all my time as the Queen of Hell, I have never once had so much as a single day off. I suppose the old saying is right. No rest for the wicked. I thought perhaps my opinion of kings might change for the better when Loki took over the throne of Asgard. His goals were certainly more aligned with my own, after all, and he promised to help me expand my domain of the dead into the mortal realm in exchange for my aid. But it wasn't long before that Frostborn fool got distracted from his own nefarious scheme and started to look for other ways to spread mischief. And so, instead of draining the World Tree of its Chronovium-infused sap, as he was sworn to do, he flitted off to Midgard, where he joined a band of warriors in combat against vampiric legions and killer robots. Perhaps it was in order to keep those threats from spreading to Asgard, or more likely it was in hopes of making the mortals his playthings again. Either way, it was all so predictable, as Loki always was. While I admit I did join the fray myself for a time, I had my reasons as well. If one of those self-proclaimed superheroes happened to perish on the field of battle, I believed I would be able to swoop in and claim their powerful soul as a trophy. It was all part of my master plan. If I could make one of them my new champion, I wouldn't need Loki any longer. I would be able to conquer Asgard and all of the other realms of the living myself. Yet somehow, every time they fell, those accursed mortals found a way to get back up again, and I began to lose my patience. After a particularly irritating clash on a Midgard-adjacent planet called Araco, I had finally had enough. I took my leave, fully intent on returning to my castle in Niflheim to formulate a new scheme. But then the most peculiar thing happened. I heard someone whispering my name. The voice was sweet and sinister at the same time, like a lullaby spilling from the lips of a fresh corpse. Not only was it absolutely enchanting, it was strangely familiar as well. It took me a moment before I could place where I've heard that voice before, but I soon realized it was when I had briefly joined forces with the mortals on Klyntar. That world was populated by a race of ravenous parasitic creatures, the very same species that dared send an emissary to Hell as a harbinger of the Dark Lord's impending return. As we travelled under the planet's surface, I had sworn that someone was calling out to me. Could it be the same King in Black that the symbiote messenger had spoken of earlier? I hoped so, for I wished to have words with this gnoll for threatening me in my own domain. But sadly, our time on Klyntar ended more quickly and explosively than expected, and the voice was silenced before I could ever identify its true source. Now it had returned, though, and whoever it belonged to was seeking an audience with me. Using a shard of a Bifrost that I had stolen from Odin's vault during my stay on Asgard, I opened a portal across the cosmos and soon found myself standing on Klyntar's undulating surface once again. I was not thrilled to have my boots sullied by the grotesque creatures that populated this world, but my curiosity outweighed my disgust. Following the voice, I navigated my way into a series of caverns that led deeper and deeper beneath Klyntar's surface. I was no stranger to underworlds, but even I took pause as all traces of light began to fade from view. For once I felt as though I might actually be out of my depth. But then, my black soul trembled as I heard the mysterious voice directly in front of me. So close I felt as if I could reach out and touch it. And for some reason that I could not explain, I wanted to, so very desperately. "Sweet Hela," it said. "Home at last." "Show yourself," I commanded. "You do not give the orders on this world, woman," the voice replied. "Really?" I mused. "Then pray tell, who does?" "I do," the voice responded. "And you are?" I asked, already knowing the answer full well. "No," the voice said proudly. "God of Darkness, the King in Black." "I have heard of you," I muttered, "but I have no need for another king." "You do not need anyone," Null said. That is exactly why I chose you. Do go on, I said, enjoying Noel's flattery. When I first sent my progeny to your realm, Noel said, it was with a warning. You dared to defy me, but you did not raise my ire. Instead, you intrigued me. Then, when you came to my world, it was clear that my curiosity about you was justified. You did not belong with those who opposed me. I could sense something different inside of you, a darkness not unlike my own. I believe we may be kindred spirits. If you're attempting to court me, I replied flippantly, then I expect you to at least be brave enough to show me your face. If only I could, Noel said, feigning despair. It was obvious he was playing a game, but he was quite good at it. Almost as good as me. Alas, my children have tracked me deep within the heart of their own home eons ago. I am a prisoner of my own creations, at least until someone finally sets me free. Ah, I responded. So you would have me be your pawn then? Oh, typical. Not my pawn, Noel responded, pretending to be wounded by my words. My queen. I am already a queen, I said. I have a realm to call my own and millions of souls in my army, all ready to obey my every command. What could you possibly offer me that I do not already have? The rest of them, Noel said. Every mortal soul that ever lived. When I am finally free from my bonds, I will snuff out the stars, and then every last creature that was ever born into this ill-begotten universe will become yours for all eternity. And why would you give me such an extravagant present, my dear? I asked. You barely know me. I disagree, Noel replied. I know you all too well. Like me, you were created for a purpose. We help maintain a universal balance, you and I. It is no easy task, one you most certainly did not choose, but one you have proudly dedicated your very existence to nonetheless. And yet, those short-sighted fools who fight in the name of life and light fail to recognize our glorious purpose. They consider us evil, when what we actually are is necessary. They have tried to conquer us, and they have always failed. Why? Because the universe cannot exist without us. Life and death, light and dark, those forces cannot be separated, and while one can be pushed down for a time, it eventually returns, stronger than ever. I said, pondering Noel's words. It seems you do know me. Almost as well as I know myself. What is it you would have me do for you? Reign, he responded. Sit on my throne and rule this world. Protect it from the onslaught to come. From the righteous fires that would scorch it to ash, and the prodigal suns that would return to strike their creator down. Reign with the same ruthlessness you always have, milady, and that will be more than enough. And when you return, my lord, I asked, what then? Then we shall look out over the endless abyss we have created with pride, Noel said, his voice growing stronger. We shall live out the rest of eternity in darkness and the void together. And should the forces of light and life dare to rise against us ever again, which they inevitably will, we will revel as we crush them beneath our boots. You truly know the way to a girl's heart, I responded, a smile twisting across my lips. I accept. Then come to me, my queen, Noel beckoned. Suddenly, the darkness of the subterranean cavern was replaced by the crimson glow of a strange spiral pattern on the cavern wall. The red symbol pulsed, as if it were alive. I placed my hand upon it and tried to use my arcane powers to siphon its energy, but to no avail. Instead, the wall itself began to open, as if the spiral was a lock and my hand was the key. I stepped into the vast cavern that had revealed itself, and then far in the distance I saw what I had been seeking. There stood a pillar made from the same material as Klyntar itself, and at its top a majestic figure sat waiting. Not willing to delay reaching my destination any longer, I transformed myself into an unstrawed crow and flew to meet Noel face to face at last. When I arrived, I resumed my godly form and approached the King in Black. With a sinister smile, he silently reached out his hand to me, touching my forehead with a single finger as white as bone. I could feel his sigil burning itself into my flesh, and the very same blood-red spiral that had appeared on the wall moments ago. Immediately, the organic material from which the pillar was made extended towards me, surrounding my body. I struggled against it at first, not fully realizing what was happening, But then Noel spoke again. Do not resist, my love, he said. This is my gift to you, the first of many. Once the symbiotic substance had completely inverted my form, I realized that Noel had been telling the truth. This was a gift indeed, one that made me feel more powerful than ever, and now I could hear his voice even louder, as if he was sharing my own mind with mine. Rise, my queen in black, he said. Rise so that all others may fall. And rise I did. I turned and walked triumphantly from the cavern, my new garments rippling around me as they guided me back to the outside world with ease. It felt as if I knew every inch of Klyntar as well as I knew my own realm. Certainly these vestments would provide a great advantage in the battle to come, I thought. But it wasn't until I reached the surface that I realized how soon that battle would begin. There, off in the night sky, I could see a star glowing brighter. No, not a star. A being of some sort, racing ever closer toward the planet. As it continued its approach, its shape became clear. It was a giant bird with flaming wings. Could this be the same fire-haired phoenix that Odin used to sing love songs about after too many tankards of ale? I supposed I would find out soon enough. Until then, I would sit on Noel's throne, claiming it as my own, and waiting patiently for the light to arrive so that I would extinguish it, in the name of my king. That lore segment, essentially, is the prologue to the season event for the King in Black. That's how Hela became a Queen in Black and became Noel's agent and became the secondary antagonist for the series. That was fun. So be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.